Today, waterbed devotees are said to comprise 10% of our sleeping California population.
In the past, homes were filled with unique features you simply don't see anymore, like avocado-colored refrigerators, intercom systems in every room, or shag carpeting that felt like a mini jungle. But why did these once popular features fall out of favor? And were they replaced by something better, or did we simply grow tired of them? In this video, we're taking a walk down memory lane to revisit 20 iconic home features that defined generations of homeowners, only to fade into obscurity over time.
Central vacs are cool because all you really have to cart around the room is just the hose itself.
We've dug through old home catalogs, renovation trends, and personal accounts to uncover the reasons behind their disappearance. So sit back, relax, and let's kick things off with a feature that was once the height of home luxury, but is now a distant memory: wood paneling. Remember when wood paneling was everywhere? It seemed like no living room, basement, or den was complete without those dark, groovy wood walls that made every space feel like a cozy cabin in the woods. Whether it was the rich mahogany tones of the 1970s or the lighter pine panels of the 80s, wood paneling was a staple in so many homes. And if you were lucky enough to have the real thing, your place was the envy of the neighborhood. But why did it disappear? While it was initially hailed as a low-cost, easy-to-install option that could bring a touch of class to even the most basic homes, the very traits that made it popular led to its downfall. Over time, the wood paneling craze turned stale. It became associated with outdated, drab decor as tastes shifted toward lighter, airier spaces in the 90s. The once beloved panels became the wallpaper of a generation, something that was eventually ripped down and replaced with fresh coats of paint. Chances are you probably remember the sound of nails popping out as your parents tried to remove those panels. And don't even get started on the price tag for replacing them with something modern. But despite its decline, there's still a certain warmth to that old wood. Maybe you can still spot the occasional house clinging to those panels, a nostalgic reminder of the era when every family room was made to feel like a rustic retreat. Let's take a moment and reminisce. Did you ever have wood paneling in your house? And if you had to choose, would you bring it back, or would you rather stick with a more contemporary look? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and stick around because we've got more. Rotary phones.
Dial each numeral in this manner, pulling the dial around to the finger stop each time.
There was something almost ceremonial about using a rotary phone. You'd sit down, carefully pick up the receiver, and then slowly spin the dial, one number at a time, until you reached the end of the line. It wasn't just about making a call, it was a process, a moment to savor. Whether it was the classic black version or one of the colorful models from the 60s, the rotary phone was a fixture in homes for decades, giving every house its own signature sound. But as technology marched on, the rotary phone quickly became obsolete. The invention of the push-button phone in the late 1960s marked the beginning of the end for the rotary. As people grew accustomed to faster, more efficient ways to dial, those slow, deliberate spins felt like an inconvenience. The rise of cell phones further sealed the fate of the rotary phone, leaving us with nothing more than a few vintage relics tucked away in antique shops or forgotten attics. Do you remember the first time you tried to use a rotary phone as a kid? Or maybe you recall your parents yelling at you to stop spinning the dial too slowly. Even today, there's something almost comforting about the sound of that satisfying click, click, click as the numbers return to their resting place. It's a feature that may be long gone from modern homes, but it'll always be a cherished part of the past. Quick break for some fun. Do you prefer the feeling of using a rotary phone, or do you enjoy the instant speed of today's technology? Let me know in the comments, and stay tuned because we're about to dive into another quirky feature that's disappeared from our homes: Cedar chests. There was a time when nearly every home had a cedar chest, and for good reason. These beautiful, sturdy wooden boxes weren't just for decoration. They were practical and aromatic too. Filled with that distinct, refreshing scent of cedar wood, these chests were a favorite storage solution for blankets, clothes, or even precious heirlooms. The deep reddish-brown wood was a symbol of care, preservation, and a homey sense of nostalgia. But despite their many uses and sentimental value, cedar chests began to fall out of favor in the late 20th century. As homes became smaller and storage solutions more creative, people started opting for sleek, modern furniture rather than the bulky, space-hogging cedar chest. Additionally, some newer synthetic materials were deemed more practical and less prone to the same wear and tear as cedar, slowly pushing the classic chest into the realm of antique shops and garage sales. Do you remember opening up that cedar chest at Grandma's house and pulling out old quilts or keepsakes? The scent alone was enough to take you straight back to childhood. And while cedar chests may not be as common in modern homes, they still hold a certain charm. There's just something timeless about the beauty and practicality they offered. Plus, who can forget the satisfaction of hearing the lid close with that distinct thud? Time for a little throwback question. Did your family have a cedar chest, and if so, what did you store inside? Drop a comment and let's compare stories. And stick around because there's more to come. Intercom systems. Once considered a luxury feature, the intercom system was the ultimate convenience for families in larger homes. It allowed you to communicate with anyone in the house without leaving the room. Whether you were calling the kids for dinner, checking in on the laundry, or asking your spouse what they wanted from the store. You might remember those chunky wall-mounted units with their fuzzy, static-filled transmissions that somehow felt high-tech at the time. The rise of the intercom system coincided with the 1970s and 80s, when many families sought ways to make their homes more modern and functional. This was before cell phones and wireless communication, so having a way to talk to someone in another room without getting up was pretty revolutionary. But as technology evolved, intercoms quickly became outdated. The advent of cell phones, smartphones, and even digital voice assistants made the intercom system all but obsolete. Plus, with more homes being built with open floor plans, people no longer felt the need to shout down the hallway just to talk to someone in another room. Did you ever experience the delight of picking up that intercom receiver and hearing the faint voice of a family member on the other end? Maybe you remember the squeaky, tinny sound it made when you pressed the button. It's funny how something so simple can feel so nostalgic today. Quick break for a fun thought. If you could bring back one thing from the past, would it be the trusty intercom system, or would you stick with your modern tech? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. And keep watching, because we're diving into another retro home feature next: sunken living rooms. If you ever walked into a mid-century modern home, chances are you were greeted by one of the most striking features of the time: the sunken living room. This architectural feature had a certain elegance to it, steps leading down into a spacious, sunken area where family and guests could gather, relaxing in what felt like an elevated sense of comfort. It was a bold statement of style, often with low, plush furniture arranged around a fireplace or a retro cocktail table. The concept first gained popularity in the 1950s and was especially prominent in the 1960s and 70s, capturing the era's desire to embrace open, flowing spaces that broke traditional architectural norms. Sunken living rooms created a sense of separation without needing walls or doors, giving homes an airy, modern feel. It was also perfect for entertaining, as the lower seating area seemed to pull everyone together in a cozy, informal atmosphere. But as homes evolved and families sought more functional, user-friendly designs, the sunken living room gradually fell out of favor. The added steps were seen as a hazard, especially for young children or elderly family members, and the trend of open floor plans made these sunken areas seem awkward and impractical. Do you remember the feeling of stepping down into a sunken living room, like entering a secret, stylish hideaway? Or perhaps you recall the challenge of navigating the steps, especially after a few drinks at a party. Either way, it's a feature that's largely disappeared, but not without leaving behind some fond memories of mid-century flair. Time for a little throwback. Did your childhood home have a sunken living room, or did you ever dream of having one? Let me know in the comments, and keep watching for more forgotten home features that are making us feel nostalgic. Carpeted kitchens. Imagine stepping into a kitchen, and instead of cold tiles or hardwood, you're greeted by plush, wall-to-wall carpet. It sounds a bit odd now, doesn't it? But back in the 1970s and early 80s, carpeted kitchens were all the rage. Think about it. Carpet provided a warm, cozy feel underfoot, making kitchens feel like a homey extension of the living room. Plus, it could help create a seamless flow between spaces in open concept homes, blending the kitchen with the dining and living areas. However, as practical as carpeted kitchens might have seemed at the time, they quickly became a nightmare. Spills, stains, and food crumbs would quickly ruin the soft surface, and the carpet could harbor germs, odors, and bacteria. Soon enough, people realized that hard floors like tile, vinyl, or wood were far more practical for the messes that came with cooking, eating, and cleaning. The idea of having plush carpet under the stove or sink just didn't hold up to modern-day sensibilities. If you lived through this trend, you probably remember the feel of that warm carpet beneath your feet, especially when you were running around barefoot. And maybe you even recall the dread of accidentally spilling a glass of juice or stepping into a puddle from a leaky sink. Carpeted kitchens were an experiment in comfort that just didn't survive the test of time. Let's take a little break and reflect. Did you ever have a carpeted kitchen? Or maybe you had a friend or relative who did. How did it hold up in your memory? Or did it end up as a real hassle? Drop your stories in the comments below and stick around, because we've got more forgotten home features coming up. Popcorn ceilings. If you lived through the 60s, 70s, or 80s, you probably remember the signature look of a popcorn ceiling. Also known as acoustic ceilings, they were all the rage in homes across the United States. With their bumpy, textured finish, popcorn ceilings were marketed as an affordable way to cover up imperfections in drywall, and they also promised to reduce noise in the room. In a time when many homes were designed with thick, partitioned walls, these ceilings seemed like the perfect solution to creating a cozy, quiet atmosphere. However, while popcorn ceilings were once a symbol of modernity, they eventually became one of the most hated features of residential design. As years passed, people began to realize how difficult they were to clean and maintain. Dust, cobwebs, and even cigarette smoke seemed to cling to them, and scraping off the texture to update the look of a room became a time-consuming nightmare. The real kicker? As it turns out, many popcorn ceilings from the 60s and 70s contained asbestos, which made them hazardous to remove. If you've ever tried to scrape one of these ceilings yourself, you probably remember the dusty mess, the constant scraping, and the aching arms from trying to get every last bump off. It's no surprise that these ceilings became a thing of the past, especially as cleaner, sleeker designs became popular in the 90s and beyond. Quick break for a nostalgic moment. Do you remember when you first saw a popcorn ceiling? Or maybe you even lived in a house with one. Were they more trouble than they were worth? Or do you miss the retro charm they brought to your home? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And stay tuned, because we're about to talk about another feature you probably forgot ever existed: the electric can opener. There was a time when the electric can opener was a must-have gadget in every modern kitchen. No more struggling with manual openers, no more twisting and turning the handle until your fingers hurt. Just press a button and voila, the can was open. It was the height of convenience, especially for those who cooked large meals or had trouble with hand strength. The electric can opener was like a little miracle for busy families trying to get dinner on the table faster. The heyday of the electric can opener was in the 1970s and 80s. The clunky countertop models were often seen as high-tech and efficient, making kitchen tasks a breeze. They came in all shapes and sizes, some sleek and modern, others with bulky metal bodies that took up space. But as the years went on, the convenience factor started to fade. Manual can openers got a lot more effective, smaller, and easier to use, and the novelty of electric models wore off. As more compact kitchen designs became the norm, there just wasn't room for a big, clunky can opener on the counter anymore. Do you remember the first time you saw an electric can opener in action? Maybe it was in your grandma's kitchen, or perhaps it was that shiny new gadget your parents proudly displayed for special occasions. It was a pretty cool feature at the time, wasn't it? But in today's kitchen, it's a rare sight. Time for a little break. Would you ever bring back the electric can opener? Or do you think the manual ones have a certain charm? Drop your comments below, and don't go anywhere, because we've still got a lot more forgotten home features to cover. Avocado colored appliances. If you lived through the 1970s, you'll remember when avocado green was all the rage in home appliances. From refrigerators to ovens, dishwashers, and microwaves, this earthy olive-toned color made kitchens feel modern and fresh. It was the perfect contrast to the other bold, colorful design trends of the time. Everyone had an avocado-colored something in their kitchen, whether it was a sleek stove, a matching toaster, or a fridge that looked like it belonged in a funky 70s diner. But while the color was once considered stylish, it didn't take long for it to go out of favor. As the 80s rolled around, pastel shades like seafoam green and soft pink began to dominate kitchens, and the bright, bold look of avocado began to feel more and more outdated. The rise of stainless steel and white appliances in the 1990s finally sealed the fate of avocado-colored kitchenware. The trend had simply run its course. Do you remember the excitement of getting that new avocado-colored fridge, or the sink that matched the stove? Maybe you were even a proud owner of a whole set of matching appliances. Today, finding avocado-colored appliances is like stumbling upon a vintage treasure at an estate sale or thrift store. It's a charming relic from a time when home decor wasn't afraid to embrace color, even if it was a little unique. Quick break for some nostalgia. Did your kitchen ever sport those classic avocado-colored appliances? Or did you grow up with another iconic color? Let me know in the comments. And stay tuned, because we've got even more retro features to explore. Faux fireplaces. There was a time when faux fireplaces were all the rage, especially in homes without a traditional fireplace or chimney. These imitation fireplaces were often electric or gas-powered, designed to give the aesthetic of a crackling fire without the hassle of real wood and smoke. Whether it was a brick mantle with a glowing electric fire or a sleek, modern unit with a fake fire made of plastic logs and colorful lights, these faux fireplaces added a cozy charm to living rooms, dens, and even bedrooms. For many homeowners, the faux fireplace was an easy way to create ambience without the expense or maintenance of a real hearth. They became particularly popular in the 1970s and 80s, when many homes were built without fireplaces, or in apartments where installing a real fireplace wasn't practical. They offered warmth, a sense of luxury, and that cozy, crackling fire sound, all at the flip of a switch. But as real fireplaces became more common in newer homes and energy-efficient options made wood stoves and gas fireplaces easier to install, the faux fireplace gradually became a thing of the past. While it was once a great feature for creating a warm atmosphere, it was no match for the genuine comfort of a real fire. Plus, the novelty wore off, and people wanted a more realistic experience. Do you remember the first time you saw one of those faux fireplaces? Maybe it was in a friend's house, or perhaps you had one in your own home to add a little firelight to the winter evenings. While they may not have stood the test of time, they definitely helped set the mood on many cold nights. Let's take a quick moment to reflect. Did you ever have a faux fireplace, or do you still secretly wish you had one in your home for a bit of retro charm? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and stay tuned because we're about to talk about another feature that's all but disappeared: pop-up toasters. Remember when toasters weren't just a kitchen appliance but a source of morning excitement? The pop-up toaster was the star of the breakfast table for many families. With a simple press of a lever, the bread would rise up with a satisfying pop, ready for butter, jam, or maybe a quick smear of peanut butter. These toasters weren't just functional, they were almost a ritual, marking the start of your day. These toasters were especially popular in the 1960s through the 1980s, when they were available in a wide range of designs, from sleek chrome models to fun, brightly colored versions. The pop-up toaster gave a sense of anticipation every time you waited for your slice of bread to rise, and it was often the centerpiece of the kitchen counter. But as time passed, the design of the toaster changed. Consumers began to prefer more compact, convenient models with wider slots to accommodate bagels and thicker slices of bread. The pop-up toaster, while still functional, eventually lost its appeal as other kitchen gadgets took over. Today, you'll find more high-tech toasters with digital settings or even toaster ovens that can handle more than just bread. Do you remember the joy of watching your bread pop up, knowing it was the perfect time for breakfast? Maybe your pop-up toaster was one of those classic retro designs that made the kitchen look a bit cooler. It's hard to imagine breakfast without one, isn't it? Time for a little break. Do you miss the excitement of a good pop-up toaster? Or are you all about those newer, high-tech toasters? Let me know in the comments below, and don't go anywhere. We've got a few more home features to explore that are sure to bring back memories. Wall-to-wall carpeting in bathrooms. It might sound odd now, but there was a time when wall-to-wall carpeting in bathrooms wasn't just a quirky design choice. It was a statement. In the 70s and 80s, some homeowners thought carpeting their bathrooms was the ultimate in luxury and comfort. Picture stepping out of the shower and onto a soft, plush carpet that felt like a warm hug for your feet. It wasn't just about luxury, it was about creating a cozy, inviting atmosphere that extended beyond the living areas of the home. The trend was often paired with other 70s home features like floral wallpaper, gold fixtures, and ornate mirrors. The soft textures created a contrast to the cold, hard tiles you'd expect to see in a bathroom, making the space feel more like a retreat. But as we all know now, this design choice came with major downsides. Carpets in bathrooms are highly impractical. They absorb moisture, hold on to smells, and can quickly become breeding grounds for mold and mildew. As hygiene and practicality became more of a priority in home design, this trend quickly disappeared. Do you remember that weird combination of luxury and absurdity of having carpeted bathroom floors? Maybe you spent time at a friend's house or even had this feature in your own home before it was phased out. It's hard to imagine going back to that, isn't it? Quick break for some fun. Do you think carpeted bathrooms were a great idea or just an awkward trend? Let's hear your thoughts in the comments. And stick around because we've still got a few more home features that will make you feel nostalgic. Central vacuum systems. Imagine a home where vacuuming didn't involve lugging around a heavy, noisy machine from room to room. Instead, you had a central vacuum system installed in the walls where you simply plugged in a hose and got to work.
Central vacs are cool because all you really have to cart around the room is just the hose itself.
The idea was revolutionary. Eliminate the need for a bulky vacuum cleaner and reduce noise while cleaning. Central vacuum systems, popular in the 1960s through the 1980s, were an ideal solution for large homes or families who wanted a more convenient, efficient way to clean. These systems consisted of a powerful motor located in the basement or garage, with ports strategically placed around the house. You'd attach a hose to one of the ports, and the vacuum would suck up dirt and debris, sending it directly to a central collection bin. It was clean, quiet, and surprisingly efficient, at least for those who had the space and the budget to install one. But as vacuums became lighter, more affordable, and cordless technology emerged, the central vacuum system began to feel like a luxury, of the past. The hassle of maintaining and emptying a central vacuum bin, combined with the rise of handheld portable options, made these built-in systems less desirable. Today, they're nearly extinct, often found only in high-end homes or as a nostalgic feature in older houses. Do you remember those times when you'd pull out the long hose from the wall and start cleaning with ease? Maybe your parents had one of these systems installed, and it felt like the ultimate in-home convenience. Though we've moved on to sleeker, more portable options, there's something oddly satisfying about the idea of a central vacuum system. Let's take a quick break. Did your house ever have a central vacuum system? Or maybe you remember a friend's home that had one. Drop your stories in the comments below and stay tuned for more features that will bring back some great memories. Waterbeds. The waterbed was once the height of luxury, comfort, and, let's be honest, a bit of a status symbol.
Today, waterbed devotees are said to comprise 10% of our sleeping California population.
In the 1970s and 80s, everyone seemed to want one. It was a time when bold trends were taking over, and the waterbed became the go-to choice for anyone looking to add an element of fun and modernity to their bedroom. These beds featured a large vinyl mattress filled with water, creating a unique sleeping experience where the bed would ripple and sway as you moved. Waterbeds were originally designed in 1968 by Charles Hall as a way to provide more comfort and support for people with back problems. By the time the 70s hit, the trend caught on, and they were marketed as the ultimate in relaxation and luxury. Many people loved the idea of floating off to sleep, and the gentle rocking sensation became synonymous with restful nights. They were often paired with over-the-top bedroom decor. Think shag carpeting, mirrored furniture, and bold patterns. But by the 90s, the waterbed began to fade from popularity. While some people still swear by their comfort, many others found that the novelty wore off. The maintenance was a hassle, filling the bed, adjusting the water level, fixing leaks, and the idea of moving a giant water-filled mattress became impractical. Today, waterbeds are mainly considered a relic of the past, found mostly in vintage shops or in nostalgic websites. Do you remember having a waterbed, or did you dream of one in your youth? It was one of those features that made bedrooms feel like a personal retreat. While they may not have survived the test of time, they're still part of the cultural memory of the 70s and 80s. Let's take a moment to reminisce. Would you ever go back to a waterbed, or do you think it was a trend best left in the past? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and keep watching. We've still got more nostalgic home features to revisit. Combination washer-dryer units.
This is the new JCPenney washer, and this is our new matching dryer, with a choice of temperature settings and a special timer.
In the 1970s and 1980s, the combination washer-dryer unit was a game changer for homes with limited space. These all-in-one machines promised to save both space and time by allowing you to wash and dry your clothes in one compact unit. Ideal for apartments or smaller homes, they were especially popular among people who didn't want to dedicate a whole room to laundry. It seemed like the perfect solution for those looking for a more efficient, no-fuss laundry experience. However, while the idea of a washer and dryer in one was innovative, it often didn't live up to the promise. The drying capacity was usually limited, meaning you'd often have to run multiple drying cycles to get your clothes fully dry. They were also slower than traditional separate units and had smaller capacities overall, which meant more time spent on laundry. As the 90s came around, separate washers and dryers became more affordable and efficient, and the combo units started to fall out of favor. The convenience just couldn't compete with the functionality of two dedicated machines. Do you remember the appeal of having a washer and dryer in one unit? Maybe you or someone you knew had one in a small apartment, and it felt like a huge upgrade. Looking back, they were a neat concept, but not exactly the laundry revolution we were hoping for. Quick break for a thought. Did you ever have a combo washer-dryer, or did you avoid them and stick with the old-school setup? Let me know in the comments, and don't go anywhere. We've got more forgotten features to reminisce about Insync dishwashers. Dishwashing used to be a much more complicated affair, but then came the Insync dishwasher, a unique solution that promised to make cleaning up after meals a whole lot easier. These small countertop dishwashers were designed to fit inside your kitchen sink, replacing the need for a full-sized machine. They worked by attaching to the faucet, allowing you to load dishes directly into a basin where the machine would wash them using jets of water, all while staying compact enough for smaller kitchens. The Insync dishwasher was especially popular in the 60s and 70s when space-saving innovations were at the forefront of home design. It was marketed as an affordable, practical solution for families that didn't have the space or budget for a full-sized, built-in dishwasher. While it didn't provide the same capacity or power as larger models, it offered convenience and efficiency for smaller households. But as technology improved, so did dishwashers. The rise of full-sized built-in dishwashers with multiple wash cycles, larger capacities, and better energy efficiency made the Insync model seem obsolete. It quickly faded from the market, becoming a quirky relic of the past. Do you remember the excitement of having a tiny dishwasher right in the sink? Maybe it wasn't as powerful as its bigger counterpart, but it definitely helped make dishwashing a little less of a chore. It's one of those features that sounds quirky today, but was a real convenience in its time. Time for a little throwback moment? Did you ever have an Insync dishwasher? Or maybe you remember one from a friend's house? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and keep watching. We've got even more retro home features coming your way. Mirrored walls. In the 1970s and 1980s, mirrored walls were everywhere. They were the epitome of chic for homeowners who wanted to create the illusion of more space or add a touch of glamour to their rooms. Mirrored panels adorned living rooms, dining areas, and even bedrooms, giving the space a reflective, almost mystical quality. Whether it was a wall completely covered in mirrored glass or just a few panels strategically placed, the effect was both dazzling and dramatic. At the time, mirrored walls were seen as modern and sophisticated, making rooms appear larger and brighter. They were often paired with bold, luxurious furniture, choices like velvet sofas or chrome fixtures, creating a high-end, stylish atmosphere. This feature became a hallmark of the 70s modern aesthetic, symbolizing the era's fascination with reflection, light, and contemporary design. However, by the end of the 80s and into the 90s, mirrored walls quickly fell out of favor. The trend became associated with gaudy, over-the-top interior designs, and people began to move away from such flashy decor in favor of cleaner, more minimalist styles. The upkeep of mirrored walls wasn't easy either. Fingerprints, dust, and smudges seemed to appear out of nowhere, making them a maintenance headache. Do you remember the first time you walked into a house with mirrored walls? Maybe your family had one, or maybe a friend's house seemed extra fancy because of them. While they might seem outdated now, they definitely left an impression. Let's take a quick break. Did your home ever have mirrored walls? Or did you always wonder what the appeal was? Let me know in the comments, and stay tuned, because we've got even more forgotten features to take a trip down memory lane with. Sun tunnels. In the 1980s, homes started embracing a new trend designed to bring natural light into rooms that didn't have windows or skylights, the sun tunnel, also known as tubular skylights. These features were small, round openings installed in ceilings, channeling sunlight from the roof down into dark, windowless spaces like hallways, bathrooms, or closets. They worked by reflecting sunlight through a mirrored tube, providing a soft, natural glow to spaces that would otherwise be artificially lit all day long. Sun tunnels were marketed as an easy and energy-efficient way to brighten up your home. They were especially popular in homes built in areas where natural light was at a premium, or in rooms where traditional skylights would have been impractical. Compared to traditional skylights, they were also less expensive to install, making them an attractive option for homeowners who wanted to increase natural light without the big price tag. But by the late 90s, the trend and began to fade. While they were effective, sun tunnels never gained the widespread popularity of more traditional home improvements. As homes became larger and floor plans more open, people started relying more on windows and open concept spaces to bring in light, and the need for sun tunnels diminished. Do you remember hearing about sun tunnels or even having one in your home? They were a clever idea at the time, offering a bit of daylight to those dark corners of your house. Though they're not as common today, they definitely had their moment. Let's take a quick break. Did you ever have a sun tunnel, or did you wonder if they actually worked? Let me know in the comments below. And don't go anywhere, because we've still got some retro home features to explore. Cassette tape players built into furniture. In the 1970s and 1980s, cassette tapes were the soundtrack of our lives. Whether you were recording your favorite songs off the radio or creating your own mixtapes, these little plastic wonders were the portable music solution everyone had. But what if you could combine your love for music with furniture? Enter the cassette tape player built directly into furniture, like a coffee table or even a bookshelf. These innovative designs allowed you to listen to your music while lounging, reading, or entertaining, making them a staple for music lovers who also wanted to keep their living spaces functional and stylish. Some of these furniture pieces featured a built-in cassette player along with speakers so you could enjoy music right where you were sitting. Others went even further, incorporating storage for cassette tapes and other media, making it easy to keep everything close at hand. These pieces weren't just functional, they were also a sign of the times, reflecting the growing importance of technology in the home. However, as the 1990s ushered in the age of CDs, MP3s, and eventually streaming music, cassette tape players became obsolete. The furniture and its built-in players quickly disappeared, replaced by smaller, sleeker electronics. While it was fun to have a built-in stereo system, the convenience of having everything in one place couldn't compete with the portability and better sound quality of newer technologies. Do you remember the unique combination of furniture and music with a cassette tape player built right in? Maybe you had one in your living room, or you recall a friend's house with this amazing setup. It was a clever way to blend technology with home design, but sadly, it didn't last long. Time for a break. Did you ever have one of those cassette tape players built into furniture? Or was it always the portable version for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and stay tuned because we've still got more forgotten features to dive into. Lava lamps. The lava lamp was a psychedelic masterpiece, a swirling blob of wax that seemed to defy physics while casting a soothing, colorful glow. Popularized in the 1960s, these funky lamps became a fixture in the 70s and 80s homes, especially in bedrooms and living rooms, where they added an artistic touch to the decor. The soft lighting and mesmerizing movement of the wax made them a captivating addition to the atmosphere, and they quickly became a symbol of counterculture, relaxation, and the groovy vibes of the era. What made lava lamps so special was their hypnotic movement. The wax would slowly rise and fall inside the glass tube, creating a calming effect that was perfect for late-night lounging or just zoning out. Whether you had one in a psychedelic neon color or a more subdued design, the lava lamp gave your home a certain cool factor, one that made it feel trendy, modern, and sometimes even a little rebellious. But as the years passed, the lava lamp's appeal started to fade. Newer lighting trends, more energy-efficient bulbs, and a shift toward minimalist decor meant that the once coveted lava lamp became more of a novelty or kitschy relic. It's a shame, really, because there's something still oddly soothing about watching the wax float and change shape, even in today's high-tech world. It's amazing how trends come and go, but the nostalgia they bring always stays with us. Do you have any of these features still lingering in your home? Or are there other forgotten items that you miss from the past? Whatever it is, one thing's for sure. These quirky, nostalgic details will always hold a special place in our hearts. Thanks for joining me on this trip down memory lane. Until next time, keep those memories alive and don't forget to cherish the unique features of today's homes. They'll be tomorrow's nostalgia.
Have you ever wondered about the home features that once defined everyday life but have now vanished? In this video, we'll explore 22 forgotten home features that no longer exist. From milk doors to built-in ironing boards, each one a glimpse into a bygone era. Stick around to rediscover these fascinating pieces of history. Milk doors. Can you imagine a time when fresh milk was delivered to your doorstep daily? No trip to the store required. Milk doors were a small but essential feature in homes of the past, typically located on the side of the house or in the kitchen. These small built-in doors allowed milkmen to deliver fresh bottles of milk directly into the home without ever stepping inside. The design was simple. One side of the door faced outside for the milkman to deposit bottles, while the other side opened inside the kitchen for the family to retrieve them. It kept the milk cool and protected from the elements, while also offering convenience and privacy. In some homes, milk doors even had a little shelf to hold multiple bottles and a place to leave empty ones for pickup. As grocery stores became the primary source for milk and refrigeration technology advanced, the need for milk doors disappeared. Today, they're a nostalgic feature, often spotted in older homes and serving as a quirky reminder of a time when milk delivery was a daily ritual. Coal chutes. Before central heating became the norm, coal was king for keeping homes warm during chilly winters. Coal chutes were an ingenious feature that allowed coal to be delivered directly into a home's basement or storage area without the mess or hassle of carrying it through the house. These small angled openings were typically located on the exterior of homes, often in the foundation or near a driveway. Delivery men would unload bags of coal into the chute, which funneled the fuel into a designated storage bin. Homeowners would then shovel coal from the bin into their furnaces or stoves to heat their living spaces. Coal chutes were practical, but as cleaner, more efficient heating systems like natural gas and electric heating took over, they were phased out. While most modern homeowners wouldn't know what to do with the coal chute, those who grew up with them remember them as a vital part of daily life during colder months. Dumbwaiter. Have you ever dreamed of having your very own mini elevator? Dumbwaiters were a charming and practical feature in older homes, designed to transport food, dishes, or small items between floors without the need for carrying them by hand. These small, pulley-operated lifts were often found in multi-story homes with formal dining rooms or kitchens located on different levels. They saved effort and time, especially in homes where staff or homeowners needed to move heavy trays or groceries. Pulling the rope and watching the dumbwaiter glide smoothly up or down felt almost magical. Despite their practicality, dumbwaiters faded from homes as lifestyles changed and smaller houses became more common. While they've been relegated to historical curiosities, they remain a fascinating reminder of an era when every detail in a home was designed for convenience and efficiency. Transom windows. Before air conditioning, staying cool in the summer relied on ingenuity, and transom windows were a brilliant solution. These small windows, typically located above doors, allowed air to flow freely between rooms while maintaining privacy. They were especially common in early 20th century homes and buildings, where cross ventilation was key to keeping spaces comfortable. Transom windows often had decorative glass panes and could be fixed in place or hinged to swing open. In addition to their practical use, they added a touch of elegance to a home's interior design. Whether letting in a soft breeze or natural light, they played a quiet yet crucial role in the home's functionality. As modern HVAC systems eliminated the need for passive ventilation, transom windows gradually disappeared from homes. But for those lucky enough to have them in older houses, they're a reminder of a time when architecture combined beauty with practicality. Butler's pantries. Once a mark of elegance and sophistication, Butler's pantries were more than just a storage space. They were a hub of activity in well-to-do homes. These small rooms, located between the kitchen and dining room, were used to store fine china, silverware, and linens, while also serving as a prep area for meals. Butler's pantries often featured built-in cabinetry, countertops, and even sinks, making them a functional space for serving food or cleaning up without disrupting guests in the dining room. In homes with staff, the butler's pantry was where the butler or household staff coordinated the seamless flow of meals and drinks. As home sizes shrank and open concept layouts became popular, the butler's pantry was one of the first casualties of modern design. While they've made a comeback in luxury homes, the original purpose and charm of these spaces are tied to a bygone era of formal entertaining. Phone nooks. Remember when the phone had a fixed spot in the house and everyone knew where to find it? Faux nooks were specially designed spaces for the household telephone, typically built into a hallway, kitchen, or living room. These small alcoves often included a shelf for the phone and a space beneath to hold the all-important address book or notepad for taking messages. Phone nooks weren't just practical, they were a hub of family activity. If the phone rang, everyone would gather near the nook, curious about who was calling. For teenagers, it was the epicenter of long conversations with friends, often stretching the phone cord as far as it could reach for a semblance of privacy. As cordless phones and eventually mobile phones became standard, the need for a fixed spot for the household phone disappeared. Today, phone nooks are a nostalgic relic, often repurposed as decorative spaces or forgotten altogether. But for those who grew up with them, they're a fond reminder of a time when communication was tied to a specific place in the home. Built-in ironing boards. Before walk-in closets and expansive laundry rooms, built-in ironing boards were a space-saving marvel. Tucked into walls behind a small door, these fold-out boards were conveniently located in kitchens, hallways, or laundry areas, making ironing a quick and accessible task. The boards could be pulled down and folded back up in seconds, eliminating the need to drag out a cumbersome standalone ironing board. Often accompanied by a small shelf for the iron and supplies, these built-ins were a testament to thoughtful home design. As home appliances and layouts modernized, built-in ironing boards became less common, replaced by portable versions. Yet for many, the sight of a vintage fold-out board brings back memories of neatly pressed clothes and the comforting scent of freshly ironed fabric. Laundry chutes. Have you ever wished you could just drop your dirty laundry into a magical chute and have it whisked away? For many homes built in the mid-20th century, laundry chutes were exactly that, a convenient shaft that transported clothes from upper floors straight to the laundry room or basement. Typically installed in bathrooms or hallways, these chutes save time and effort, especially in multi-story homes. Instead of lugging heavy baskets downstairs, you'd simply toss clothes into the chute, making it a favorite feature for busy families. Though practical, laundry chutes fell out of favor as home design shifted and concerns about safety and fire codes emerged. They've since become a rare feature, but for those who remember them, laundry chutes represent the ultimate in everyday convenience. Sleeping porches. Before air conditioning, staying cool in the summer required creative solutions, and sleeping porches were one of the best. These screened-in porches, typically located on the second floor of a home, allowed families to escape the stifling heat of indoor bedrooms by sleeping under the cool night air. Sleeping porches were often furnished with simple cots or day beds, offering a breezy, insect-free alternative to stuffy rooms. On particularly hot nights, they became a gathering spot, with family members chatting or reading by lantern light before falling asleep. As HVAC systems became widespread, the need for sleeping porches faded. While they're rare today, those who experienced them fondly recall the feeling of drifting off to the sound of crickets and the gentle sway of a summer breeze. Servant call buttons. In homes with live-in staff, servant call buttons were once a standard feature. Discreetly placed under dining tables, in bedrooms, or in sitting rooms, these buttons allowed homeowners to summon help with a simple press. A bell or light would alert staff to where their assistance was needed. These buttons were part of a larger system of home organization that reflected the era's class structures and reliance on household staff. They were designed to be efficient and subtle, allowing the host to request help without disrupting conversations or drawing attention. As social norms shifted and live-in staff became less common, servant call buttons fell out of use. Today, they're a curiosity found in older homes, a reminder of a time when daily life was structured around a very different way of living. Knob and tube wiring. Knob and tube wiring was an innovative electrical system in the early 20th century and remained in use through the mid-century, often found in homes even into the 1980s. This wiring system used ceramic knobs to secure wires and tubes to protect them as they passed through walls or joists. It was designed to safely distribute electricity throughout a home when demand was minimal. In its time, knob and tube wiring was a game changer, bringing electricity to homes across America. Its simplicity and low cost made it accessible for a range of households. However, as electrical needs expanded with the advent of modern appliances, the system's limitations became apparent. It wasn't equipped to handle the higher currents required by refrigerators, air conditioners, and other devices. Today, knob and tube wiring is considered outdated and unsafe, often replaced during home renovations. Yet, for those who grew grew up in homes with this wiring, it represents the early days of electrification when having power in your home felt revolutionary. Root cellars. Before refrigerators became common, root cellars were a necessity for preserving food. These cool underground storage spaces kept vegetables, fruits, and canned goods fresh throughout the year. Found in basements or dug into the ground, root cellars relied on natural insulation and ventilation to maintain the perfect environment for food storage. Root cellars were especially important for families who grew their own produce or preserved food for the winter. Potatoes, carrots, apples, and jars of pickles or preserves lined the shelves, creating a stockpile that sustained households through leaner months. As refrigeration technology improved and supermarkets became a reliable source of fresh produce year-round, root cellars fell out of favor. Yet, for those who remember them, they're a symbol of self-sufficiency and the rhythms of a simpler, more resourceful way of life. Parlor rooms. Parlor rooms were once the crown jewel of a home, reserved for formal gatherings and receiving guests. These elegant spaces, often located near the front entrance, were adorned with fine furniture, ornate rugs, and family heirlooms. In the 1980s, parlors began to fade as open-concept living spaces became more popular. Formal entertaining gave way to more casual gatherings, and the need for a designated parlor diminished. Instead, family rooms and living rooms became multi-purpose spaces for everything from socializing to watching TV. Despite their decline, parlor rooms remain a nostalgic reminder of a time when entertaining guests was an art, and every home had a space dedicated to elegance and hospitality. Ice boxes. Before the modern refrigerator revolutionized food storage, ice boxes were a staple in kitchens. These insulated cabinets relied on large blocks of ice to keep food cool, with compartments for storing perishables like meat, milk, and vegetables. Delivered by the neighborhood iceman, blocks of ice were placed in the top section of the ice box. As the ice melted, the cold air circulated downward, preserving food for a few days. Ice boxes were practical and essential, though they required frequent refilling and careful maintenance to avoid leaks. By the 1950s, electric refrigerators had largely replaced ice boxes, offering greater convenience and reliability. Yet for those who remember them, ice boxes evoke an era when even the simplest tasks involved a bit of effort and ingenuity. Wood paneling. If you walked into a home in the 1980s, chances are you'd see wood paneling covering the walls of at least one room. This design trend, popular for its warmth and affordability, transformed spaces with a rustic or cozy vibe. Typically made from inexpensive materials like plywood or veneer, wood paneling was easy to install and came in a variety of styles, from rich mahogany to lighter oak finishes. It was a go-to choice for basements, dens, and even living rooms, offering a quick way to update interiors. As design trends shifted toward brighter, more minimalistic aesthetics, wood paneling fell out of favor. Many homes covered it with drywall or painted over it. Still, for those who grew up surrounded by its retro charm, it remains a symbol of 80s home design at its most distinctive. Push-button light switches. Push-button light switches were a staple in early 20th century homes, and while they began to fade by the 1950s, many homes still had them well into the 1980s. These switches featured two small buttons, one for turning the lights on and another for turning them off. With a simple, satisfying click, they added both functionality and a touch of sophistication to home interiors. Often made of brass or Bakelite, push-button switches weren't just practical, they were elegant. Their unique design set them apart from today's standard toggle switches, giving older homes a distinctive charm. For homeowners, they also added a tactile delight to a mundane task, making something as simple as turning on a light feel special. As modern electrical systems became more standardized, push-button switches were replaced by the now familiar toggle switches. However, they've experienced a revival in recent years among homeowners restoring historic properties. For those who grew up with them, push-button switches are a nostalgic nod to a time when even the smallest details in home design were thoughtfully crafted. Pink bathrooms. In the mid-20th century, pink bathrooms were the height of fashion, and by the 1980s, many homes still proudly featured this vibrant design choice. Inspired by First Lady Mamie Eisenhower's love of pink, these bathrooms became synonymous with style, featuring pastel tiles, sinks, bathtubs, and even toilets. Pink bathrooms weren't just pretty, they were playful and optimistic, reflecting a post-war era of hope and prosperity. Homeowners embraced the cheerful color, pairing it with black or white accents for a striking look. These bathrooms became a cultural icon, representing an era when bold design choices ruled home interiors. As minimalism took hold in the 1990s, pink bathrooms began to disappear. Many were remodeled or replaced with more neutral tones. However, they remain a favorite among fans of vintage design, cherished for their boldness and charm. Built-in sewing machines. For families that valued self-sufficiency, built-in sewing machines were an essential home feature. Often housed in a fold-down cabinet, these machines were conveniently tucked away when not in use, but could be easily accessed for sewing projects. In the 1980s, many homes still had these built-ins, passed down from previous generations. They were used for everything from mending clothes to creating handmade curtains or quilts. The cabinet design kept the machine stable during use, making sewing more comfortable and efficient. As clothing became more affordable and ready-to-wear fashion took over, the need for home sewing diminished. Portable sewing machines also made the built-in versions less necessary. While they're now a rare sight, built-in sewing machines are a reminder of a time when making things by hand was a central part of home life. Radiator covers. Cast iron radiators were once a common sight in homes, providing reliable heat during the winter months, but their bulky industrial appearance didn't always blend with interior decor, which is why radiator covers became a popular feature. These decorative enclosures, often made of wood or metal, turned radiators into stylish pieces of furniture. Radiator covers didn't just look good, they were practical too. They protected children and pets from the hot surface while allowing heat to circulate effectively. Some even doubled as shelves or display spaces, adding functionality to their design. As central heating systems replaced radiators in many homes, the need for covers diminished. Still, for those who remember them, radiator covers represent a time when practicality and aesthetics worked hand in hand to create a cozy, functional home. Outdoor clotheslines. Long before electric dryers became standard, outdoor clotheslines were an essential home feature. Stretched between poles or trees, these lines provided a simple, eco-friendly way to dry laundry. In the 1980s, many homes still relied on clotheslines, particularly in rural or suburban areas where the sun and wind did the work for free. Clotheslines were more than just practical, they were part of the rhythm of daily life. Hanging clothes became a meditative task, with the fresh smell of sun-dried laundry offering a reward for the effort. For many, the sight of sheets flapping in the breeze symbolized home and care. As electric dryers became more efficient and weatherproofing improved, outdoor clotheslines gradually fell out of use. Today, they're rare in urban areas, but still cherished in some households as a sustainable and nostalgic alternative to modern appliances. Rotary clotheslines. In the 1980s, before electric dryers became standard in every household, rotary clotheslines were a staple in backyards across America. These clever contraptions consisted of a central pole with several arms extending outward, creating a rotating frame for hanging laundry. The compact design allowed for maximum drying space and a minimal footprint, making them ideal for suburban and urban homes alike. Using a rotary clothesline was both practical and satisfying. You'd pin your freshly washed clothes to the lines, then rotate the frame to hang more. The circular motion made it easy to load and unload laundry without walking back and forth. Plus, there was a certain charm to seeing clothes sway gently in the breeze, soaking up the fresh air and sunlight. Rotary clotheslines were eco-friendly and cost-effective, but their popularity declined as tumble dryers became more affordable and efficient. Today, they're rare sights in neighborhoods, though they still hold nostalgic value for those who remember the fresh scent of sun-dried laundry and the meditative task of hanging clothes on a sunny afternoon. Fold-down kitchen tables. In the era of compact home designs, fold-down kitchen tables were a lifesaver for families looking to maximize space. These tables, often mounted to the wall or built into cabinets, could be folded out for meals or work and tucked away when not in use. They were especially common in apartments or smaller homes where space was at a premium. Fold-down tables weren't just practical, they often featured charming designs with laminates in bright colors or playful patterns that added personality to the kitchen. Families gathered around these tables for everything from breakfast to school projects, making them a central part of daily life. As kitchens grew larger and dining areas became separate spaces, fold-down tables began to disappear. However, their ingenious design and nostalgic appeal still resonate, reminding us of a time when every square inch of a home was carefully considered and creatively utilized. These forgotten home features remind us of a time when design was practical, charming, and built to last. From milk doors to outdoor clotheslines, they tell stories of innovation and a way of life that feels worlds away today. Which of these features do you wish would make a comeback? Let us know in the comments below.
Remember when homes had ice pantries or central vacuum tubes in the walls? In this nostalgic journey, we explore 20 architectural elements and features that were once common in old homes but have gradually disappeared with modernization. The icebox pantry. Before electric refrigeration became commonplace in American homes, the icebox reigned supreme. These specialized pantries weren't simply early refrigerators, they were cleverly designed architectural features built directly into homes during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Icebox pantries typically featured exterior access doors, allowing ice delivery men to replenish blocks of ice without entering the home. Inside, these pantries contained insulated compartments lined with tin, zinc, or porcelain, designed to keep perishables cool for days. Melting ice would drain through dedicated pipes that led outside the home. What made these features particularly ingenious was their thoughtful placement. Often built into north-facing walls to minimize sun exposure, they incorporated vents that utilized natural air circulation to maintain cooler temperatures. Some more elaborate homes featured entire cold rooms in basements where temperatures remained naturally cool. By the 1950s, as electric refrigerators became more affordable and reliable, these architectural features began disappearing from home designs. Servant call systems. Long before intercoms and smartphones, large homes from the Victorian era through the early 20th century featured elaborate servant call systems that represented cutting-edge domestic technology of their time. These ingenious networks of tubes, bells, and buzzers allowed family members to summon household staff from anywhere in the home. The typical system consisted of a series of bells mounted on a board in the servants' quarters or kitchen, each connected to pull chains or buttons located throughout the house. Every room had its own distinctive bell sound, allowing servants to identify exactly where they were needed. More advanced systems incorporated speaking tubes, hollow pipes that ran through walls, allowing voice communication between floors, a primitive form of intercom. In homes built during the early electrical era, these mechanical systems evolved into electrical buzzer networks with indicator panels showing which room had called for service. Small metal plaques beside each button identified their purpose: butler, maid, or cook. As household staff became less common following the World Wars and labor-saving appliances gained popularity, these elaborate communication networks became obsolete. Telephone nooks. In an era when telephones were first entering American homes, architects faced a novel challenge: where to place this revolutionary communication device. Their solution was the telephone nook, a small purpose-built alcove designed specifically to house the family telephone. These charming architectural features began appearing in homes built from the 1920s through the 1950s, reflecting a time when telephones were stationary fixtures requiring dedicated space. Typically situated in hallways or between common areas, these nooks provided a semi-private area for conversations while keeping the telephone accessible to all family members. The classic telephone nook featured a built-in shelf sized perfectly for the heavy rotary phone, often accompanied by a small seat or bench below. Many included a drawer or cubby for telephone directories and message pads. The more elaborate designs incorporated decorative arches, moldings, or even doors that could be closed to muffle conversations. As telephones evolved from shared family utilities to personal devices, these architectural features lost their purpose. By the 1970s, with multiple extension phones becoming common in bedrooms and kitchens, new homes no longer incorporated these once essential spaces. Laundry chutes. Before the era of in-home laundry rooms on main living floors, doing laundry meant hauling heavy baskets down to basement washing facilities. The solution? The laundry chute, an ingenious architectural feature that transported dirty clothes effortlessly through gravity. These vertical passageways, typically measuring between 12 to 24 inches in diameter, were carefully integrated into the home's design, running from upper floors directly to basement laundry areas. Access doors on each floor, often discreetly built into hallway walls or bathroom cabinetry, allowed family members to deposit dirty clothing without making the trek downstairs. The most sophisticated laundry chutes featured fire-rated doors with spring-loaded hinges that self-closed after use, an early safety feature that prevented fire from spreading between floors. In larger homes, these chutes were often paired with dumbwaiters, allowing clean laundry to be returned upstairs with minimal effort. By the 1970s, as home designs evolved to include main floor laundry rooms and building codes tightened around vertical openings between floors, these architectural features began disappearing from new construction. Today, surviving laundry chutes are cherished conveniences in older homes, though many have been sealed due to safety concerns or converted during renovations. Those that remain serve as functional reminders of an era when architectural solutions addressed everyday household challenges. Milk delivery doors. Before refrigeration became commonplace, daily milk delivery was essential for most American households, leading to one of the most charming architectural features now vanishing from our homes: the milk delivery door. These small insulated doors, typically measuring about 12 by 8 inches, were ingeniously built into exterior walls near the kitchen. The dual-door design allowed milkmen to place fresh bottles in the insulated compartment from outside while homeowners could retrieve them from inside, all without face-to-face interaction or letting cold air into the home. The most sophisticated milk doors featured double-wall construction with insulation between layers, keeping deliveries cool during summer months. Many included specialized racks designed to hold standardized milk bottles securely. In colder northern climates, these compartments were often equipped with small heating elements to prevent freezing during winter. Beyond milk, these convenient portals served as secure drop points for other perishables and even collected empty bottles for reuse, an early form of sustainable packaging. As supermarkets grew popular and home refrigeration improved through the 1960s, daily milk delivery services gradually disappeared, rendering these architectural features obsolete. Boot scrapers and mudrooms. Before paved roads and sidewalks became standard in American communities, homes faced a persistent challenge: keeping outdoor filth from entering living spaces. Enter the boot scraper and its larger companion, the dedicated mudroom. Boot scrapers, cast iron implements typically mounted beside front entrances, were essential features of 19th and early 20th century homes. These practical devices allowed visitors to remove mud, manure, and other debris from their footwear before entering. The most elaborate designs featured decorative patterns or even animal motifs, transforming a utilitarian object into a statement piece that reflected the homeowner's taste. Complementing these outdoor fixtures were dedicated mudrooms, transitional spaces between outdoors and the home's interior. Unlike today's often luxurious versions, original mudrooms were purely functional spaces featuring slate floors, built-in benches, and extensive hooks for outdoor garments. Many included specialized boot dryers and ventilation systems to manage wet outerwear. As automobile transportation replaced horse-drawn vehicles and urban infrastructure improved, these features gradually became less essential. By mid-century, as suburban development expanded with paved roads and driveways, boot scrapers disappeared from new construction and mudrooms evolved into modern entryway closets. Transom windows. Before air conditioning transformed indoor climate control, architects relied on ingenious passive ventilation solutions, with transom windows being among the most effective and elegant. These horizontal windows, typically installed above doors throughout the home, served a critical function in an era when cross-ventilation was the primary means of cooling interior spaces. Positioned high on walls, transoms allowed hot air, which naturally rises, to circulate between rooms even when doors were closed for privacy. In more elaborate homes, transom windows featured operable mechanisms controlled by brass rods or chains, allowing residents to adjust airflow with precision. The glass panels often showcased decorative elements like stained glass patterns or etched designs, transforming a functional feature into an architectural highlight. Beyond their ventilation benefits, transoms served another practical purpose: allowing natural light to penetrate interior rooms in an era when electrical lighting was limited or non-existent. In commercial buildings and apartments, they also provided security ventilation by allowing air circulation while keeping entrance doors securely locked. As central heating and cooling systems became standard in mid-20th century homes, the practical need for transom windows diminished. Modern building codes focusing on energy efficiency further accelerated their decline as they represented potential thermal weak points, coal chutes, and ash dumps. Before the age of clean-burning natural gas and electric heating, coal was the primary fuel that kept American homes warm through harsh winters. This necessity gave rise to two interconnected architectural features now vanishing from our housing landscape: the coal chute and its companion, the ash dump. Coal chutes were specialized exterior openings, typically located at basement level, that allowed delivery men to deposit coal directly into storage areas without entering the home. These heavy-duty cast iron doors, often emblazoned with the manufacturer's name, opened to reveal a sloped metal chute that guided coal into basement bins. The most sophisticated designs featured locking mechanisms and weather sealing to prevent drafts. Working in tandem with these delivery systems were ash dumps, small metal-lined openings built into fireplace floors or beside basement furnaces. These ingenious features allowed homeowners to sweep spent coal ashes directly into receptacles below, minimizing the messy task of ash removal. In more elaborate homes, these systems connected to dedicated ash storage areas that could be emptied monthly rather than daily. As cleaner heating technologies emerged following World War II, these coal-related features quickly became obsolete. Dumbwaiters. Before the convenience of modern kitchen appliances and open floor plans, multi-story homes faced a persistent challenge: how to transport food, dishes, and household goods between floors without constant stair climbing. The elegant solution was the dumbwaiter, a miniature elevator system built directly into the home's architecture. These manual pulley systems typically consisted of a small cabinet, roughly 2 feet square, that traveled vertically through a dedicated shaft connecting the kitchen to dining areas and sometimes upper floors. Using a sophisticated counterweight mechanism, even heavy loads could be moved effortlessly between levels by pulling on ropes or chains. In grand homes, dumbwaiters featured multiple stops, allowing service from basement kitchens to formal dining rooms and even bedrooms, where they facilitated breakfast service without staff disrupting private spaces. The most elaborate systems included calling mechanisms that allowed family members to summon items from distant floors. Unlike modern elevators requiring complex safety systems, these mechanical marvels operated on simple physics principles and required minimal maintenance beyond occasional rope replacement. Many incorporated automatic braking systems that prevented accidental drops, ensuring delicate china arrived safely at its destination. As homes evolved toward less formal dining arrangements and household staff became less common, dumbwaiters gradually disappeared from residential architecture. By the mid-20th century, as kitchens moved to main living floors and family-style dining gained popularity, the need for these vertical transport systems diminished. Picture rails. Before modern hanging systems and drywall construction, homes from the Victorian era through the early 20th century featured elegant picture rails as standard architectural elements. These narrow horizontal moldings, typically installed about 18 inches below the ceiling, solved a common decorating challenge in an era of plaster walls. Unlike today's walls, traditional plaster surfaces couldn't easily accommodate nails without cracking or creating unsightly holes. Picture rails provided a practical solution by creating a permanent hanging system throughout formal rooms. Special hooks that hung from these moldings supported pictures, mirrors, and decorative items using nearly invisible wire or decorative cord systems. What made these features particularly ingenious was their flexibility. Homeowners could rearrange artwork frequently without damaging walls, allowing seasonal rotations of decorative elements. In more elaborate homes, picture rails were paired with complementary crown moldings and coordinated with other woodwork, creating a cohesive architectural statement. The hanging systems themselves became increasingly sophisticated, with specialized hooks designed for different weights and adjustable cord systems that allowed precise height placement. For particularly heavy items, hidden reinforcement blocks within the rails provided additional support. As construction methods shifted toward drywall in mid-century homes and casual decorating styles gained popularity, picture rails fell out of favor. Modern hanging hardware that could safely penetrate newer wall materials made these once essential architectural elements seem fussy and outdated. Central vacuum systems. Long before portable vacuum cleaners became household staples, innovative home builders of the early 20th century were incorporating central vacuum systems directly into residential architecture. These sophisticated systems represented cutting-edge domestic technology between 1900 and 1950. Unlike today's standalone appliances, central vacuum systems featured a powerful, motorized unit permanently installed in the basement or utility area, connected to a network of metal pipes running inside walls throughout the home. At strategic locations in each room, small metal outlets with spring-loaded covers allowed homeowners to simply plug in a lightweight hose rather than carrying a heavy machine from room to room. The engineering was remarkably advanced for its time. The systems created stronger suction than portable units and directed all dust and debris through in-wall tubing to collection containers in utility areas, preventing the recirculation of allergens. Some luxury installations even featured toe kick inlets in kitchen baseboards, allowing swept debris to be simply vacuumed away without bending. What made these systems particularly notable was their integration with other home utilities, often installed alongside speaking tubes, servant call systems, and even pneumatic message delivery systems. Central vacuums represented an era when homes were designed as self-contained technological environments. As smaller, more powerful portable vacuum cleaners became affordable and housing construction prioritized cost efficiency over built-in conveniences, these elaborate systems gradually disappeared from new construction. Built-in ironing boards. In an era when wrinkle-free fabrics were non-existent and proper presentation was paramount, homes built between 1920 and 1960 often featured a space-saving innovation that has largely disappeared from modern construction: the built-in ironing board. These ingenious fold-away systems were typically concealed within shallow cabinets recessed directly into kitchen or laundry room walls. With a simple pull of a handle, a full-sized ironing board would pivot downward on specialized hardware, creating an instant pressing station. When not in use, the entire assembly disappeared behind a small door that blended seamlessly with surrounding cabinetry. The most sophisticated versions included additional conveniences that modern homeowners would envy. Many featured dedicated electrical outlets positioned perfectly for iron placement, while premium installations incorporated small shelves for spray bottles and pressing supplies. Some models even included specialized ventilation systems to remove steam and heat during prolonged ironing sessions. What made these features particularly practical was their thoughtful placement. Typically located near laundry facilities but away from main traffic areas, they allowed for immediate pressing of garments as they came off the line without disrupting household flow or requiring setup and breakdown of equipment. As wash and wear fabrics gained popularity in the 1960s and closet space became more valuable than pressing facilities, these purpose-built features gradually disappeared from architectural plans, replaced by portable ironing boards stored in increasingly spacious closets. Root cellars. Before mechanical refrigeration revolutionized food preservation, homes across America relied on a subterranean architectural feature that worked with nature's physics: the root cellar. These specialized storage spaces were typically constructed as separate rooms within basements or as semi-underground outbuildings connected to the main house. Taking advantage of the Earth's natural insulating properties, root cellars maintain temperatures between 32 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 to 4 degrees Celsius, and high humidity levels year-round, ideal conditions for preserving harvest through winter months. The construction of these spaces reflected deep architectural knowledge. Walls were often double thick and insulated with materials like sawdust or straw. Ventilation systems featuring adjustable pipes allowed precise control over airflow and humidity, while dedicated drainage prevented moisture accumulation. Most featured specialized shelving systems designed for different produce types: slatted bins for root vegetables, hanging hooks for cured meats, and segregated areas for fruits that emitted ripening gases. What made root cellars particularly sophisticated was their integration with other home systems. Many featured small delivery doors accessible from outside, allowing fresh harvest to be transferred directly from garden to storage. Others connected to kitchen pantries via specialized passageways, creating early versions of cold chain food management. As electric refrigeration became common in American homes throughout the 1930s and 1940s, and as food systems shifted toward year-round commercial availability, the practical necessity of dedicated root storage gradually diminished. Butler's pantries. Between the kitchen and formal dining room in affluent homes built from the 1880s through the 1940s existed a specialized transitional space that served both practical and social functions: the butler's pantry. This dedicated room, typically ranging from 30 to 100 square feet, served as both staging area for formal dining and secure storage for the family's valuable serving pieces. The design featured extensive built-in cabinetry with glass-fronted upper sections displaying fine china and crystal, while locked lower cabinets protected silver service from tarnish and theft. What made Butler's pantries architectural marvels was their thoughtful functionality. Countertops were often marble, offering a cool surface for dessert preparation that wouldn't transfer heat to delicate creations. Specialized drawers featured velvet-lined compartments sized perfectly for silver flatware patterns, while pull-out boards provided additional workspace during large gatherings. The location was strategically important. Positioned between food preparation and formal dining areas, these spaces created a buffer zone that concealed kitchen noises and cooking aromas from dinner guests. This separation reflected the era's rigid social distinctions, allowing service staff to work unseen while maintaining the illusion that elaborate meals materialized effortlessly. As formal dining declined, household staff disappeared, and open-concept living gained popularity throughout the mid-20th century, these specialized transition spaces were eliminated from new home designs, replaced by direct kitchen-to-dining room connections that reflected more casual entertaining styles. Speaking tubes. Before electrical intercoms, and certainly long before smartphones, homes built between the 1850s and 1930s often incorporated an ingenious communication system directly into their walls. Speaking tubes? These simple yet effective networks consisted of metal pipes, typically 1 to 2 inches in diameter, that ran through walls connecting different areas of the home. Each end of the tube featured a decorative brass mouthpiece with a whistle attachment and a removable cap. To use the system, one would remove the cap, blow into the whistle to alert the recipient, then speak directly into the tube while the listener held their ear to the corresponding mouthpiece elsewhere in the house. The acoustic engineering was surprisingly sophisticated. The tubes were precisely angled to prevent sound degradation, with specially designed mouthpieces that amplified voices without distortion. In larger homes, central distribution points allowed communication between multiple locations, essentially creating analog conference calls decades before electronic equivalents. The strategic placement of speaking tube endpoints revealed much about household dynamics of the era. Common configurations connected kitchens to dining rooms for coordinating meal service, master bedrooms to nurseries for monitoring children, and front doors to servants' quarters for announcing visitors. In 3-story homes, vertical tubes often ran through closets or were concealed within decorative columns. As electric door chimes and telephone systems became commonplace in the 1940s, speaking tubes gradually disappeared from architectural plans.
Do you feel nostalgic about the 70s? In this video, we're uncovering 20 forgotten items found in every 1970s home. Many of these everyday things have disappeared, but they were a huge part of life back then. From shag carpets to rotary phones, these forgotten items will take you on a trip down memory lane. Comment below if you remember any of these. Shag carpeting. Shag carpeting was a staple in 1970s homes, instantly recognizable by its thick, fluffy texture and bold, earthy colors like avocado green, mustard yellow, and burnt orange. Walking barefoot on this plush carpet felt like stepping on a cloud, and for many it was a luxury that defined the decade. Whether it was in the living room, bedroom, or even the bathroom, shag carpet was everywhere. It wasn't just a flooring choice, it was a lifestyle statement that screamed comfort and style. For anyone who grew up or raised a family in the 70s, the sight of shag carpeting brings back memories of cozy movie nights, sitting on the floor with friends, or playing board games with the kids. Sure, it was a nightmare to clean, with its long fibers trapping dust and dirt, but that didn't stop people from loving it. The bold colors matched perfectly with the wood paneling and funky furniture, creating a warm and inviting home environment. Today, it's rare to find shag carpeting in homes, but those who lived through the 70s will remember how it shaped the cozy, laid-back vibe of the decade. Beanbag chairs. Beanbag chairs were the epitome of casual seating in the 1970s. These simple, oversized sacks filled with foam beads were found in almost every living room, dorm, and even bedrooms, offering a relaxed alternative to traditional furniture. They came in bright, bold colors like orange, yellow, and lime green, perfectly complementing the psychedelic decor trends of the time. For many, sinking into a beanbag chair after school or work was the ultimate way to unwind. These chairs were especially popular with teens and kids who loved how they could mold to any shape, making them ideal for lounging, watching TV, or listening to records. Parents may remember the countless times they had to refluff the chairs after they flattened out, but that was part of their charm. Durable, fun, and surprisingly comfortable beanbag chairs quickly became a beloved staple of 70s homes. While they're much less common today, seeing one can instantly transport you back to a time when comfort was king and a casual, carefree vibe ruled the home. It's hard not to feel a pang of nostalgia for those squishy, colorful chairs that were perfect for kicking back with friends or family. Wood paneling. Wood paneling was a defining feature of 1970s interior design, transforming the walls of countless homes with its dark, rich tones. Whether it was genuine wood or faux wood veneer, these panels gave rooms a cozy, cabin-like feel. From the living room to the den, wood paneling was everywhere, often paired with shag carpeting and bold, earthy decor. It brought warmth to the home, creating a sense of comfort and intimacy, especially during family gatherings. For those who lived through the 70s, wood paneling brings back memories of sitting in the living room watching TV, with the walls surrounding you in shades of walnut or oak. While modern tastes may have shifted away from this style, back then it was seen as both practical and stylish. It was easy to install and covered up imperfections in walls, which was a big selling point for homeowners. And who could forget how it matched perfectly with the earthy tones of the decade's furniture? Today, wood paneling has largely disappeared from homes, but for many, just the sight of it evokes fond memories of a simpler time, when homes felt like a cozy retreat from the outside world. Rotary phones. In the 1970s, the rotary phone was the cornerstone of every household's communication. With its distinct circular dial and sturdy receiver, it wasn't just a tool for making calls, it was an integral part of family life. The unmistakable clicking sound as the dial rotated back into place is something anyone from the era remembers vividly. Placed on kitchen counters or hall tables, rotary phones were often the center of activity, where teens spent hours chatting with friends or parents coordinated family plans. Before the convenience of speed dial and cell phones, making a call on a rotary phone required patience, especially if the number had lots of nines or zeros. And when the phone rang, there was a sense of excitement. It could be anyone on the other end. Since there was no caller ID back then, people would gather around to listen in or eagerly wait their turn to use it. Rotary phones were built to last, and many homes had the same one for years. While they may have been phased out with the rise of push-button models and digital technology, the memory of dialing a number on one of these relics remains a nostalgic reminder of a time when life moved just a little bit slower. Sunburst clocks. Sunburst clocks became iconic in the 1970s, though their origins trace back to the mid-century modern movement of the 50s. By the time the 70s rolled around, nearly every department store carried them, making them a popular household purchase. Whether you shopped at Sears or JCPenney, you'd find these clocks gleaming on display, ready to add a stylish touch to your home. Their bold design, with a small, simple clock face surrounded by striking, radiating spokes, fit perfectly into the decade's love for flashy, eye-catching decor. You probably remember seeing them everywhere, right? Kitchens, living rooms, even above the mantle in some homes. Part of their popularity was how easily they matched the wood paneling and earthy tones of the era, creating that perfect mix of retro cool and modern flair. They weren't just stylish though. These clocks were built to last. They often came in brass or chrome finishes, adding a bit of glitz to the otherwise rustic 70s aesthetic. Lava lamps. Lava lamps were one of the most unforgettable decor items of the 1970s, but they actually first appeared in the 60s, capturing the spirit of the psychedelic movement. By the 70s, they were in almost every teenager's room, adding a groovy, hypnotic vibe with their flowing, colorful blobs of wax suspended in liquid. Whether you picked one up at a local novelty shop or from a big retailer like Woolworths, lava lamps became an affordable way to add personality to any space. You probably remember turning one on and watching it mesmerize everyone in the room, right? They weren't just a lamp, they were an experience. The slow, undulating movement of the wax was almost meditative, perfect for creating a relaxed atmosphere during parties or just hanging out with friends. Part of their appeal was that they were an easy way to get that cool, laid-back vibe that defined the 70s. Lava lamps also came in every color combination imaginable, from classic red and yellow to more experimental blue and green. You might even recall how they were sometimes paired with blacklight posters or other psychedelic decor, making them an essential part of the 70s bedroom aesthetic. Macrame plant hangers. Macrame plant hangers were everywhere in the 1970s, adding a bohemian touch to homes across America. This craft, with roots in ancient times, saw a massive revival during the 70s as people embraced handmade natural decor. You could easily pick up a macrame hanger at craft fairs, local markets, or even make one yourself with a kit from a store like Woolworths or Kmart. The appeal? It was both decorative and practical, allowing plants to be hung from ceilings and brightening up any corner. Do you remember how every home seemed to have a spider plant or fern hanging in one of these? They were perfect for adding that earthy touch to a room, complementing the era's love for natural materials like wood and wicker. You'd often see them in the living room or near a window, soaking up the sun while swinging gently in the breeze. And if you made one yourself, there was always a sense of pride in showing off your handiwork. The intricate knots and patterns of macrame hangers made each one unique, and they were often dyed in earthy tones like brown, beige, or even a bold orange. Avocado green appliances. Avocado green appliances were the height of kitchen fashion in the 1970s. From refrigerators to stoves and even dishwashers, this bold shade dominated kitchens across America. Manufacturers like General Electric and Whirlpool jumped on the trend, offering their products in this distinct green hue. It wasn't just a color, it was a statement that reflected the era's love for earth tones and natural palettes. If you had an avocado green fridge, you were keeping up with the times. It wasn't unusual to walk into a friend's home and see an entire kitchen outfitted in this color, from appliances to countertops. These green tones were often paired with wood cabinets and vinyl flooring, giving the kitchen a cozy, lived-in feel. Plus, the durable metal exteriors of these appliances ensured they stuck around for decades. What's funny is that avocado green was considered cutting edge and chic at the time. Despite today's opinions, it was a daring choice, and many of those who opted for it loved how it brought warmth and character to their homes. TV trays. TV trays were a quintessential part of life in the 1970s, especially during family TV nights. These small, foldable trays were designed for easy, portable dining, letting you enjoy dinner right in front of the television. Often made from metal or wood with colorful patterns, you could find TV trays at most department stores like Sears or JCPenney. They became the go-to solution for eating while watching your favorite shows without needing to gather around the dining table. Do you remember setting up your tray before tuning into the latest episode of Happy Days or The Brady Bunch? The convenience of these trays made them a staple in homes, especially with the growing popularity of television as a family activity. They usually came in sets, stored neatly away when not in use, only to be pulled out for those relaxed evenings when formal dining wasn't necessary. With bright designs, sometimes featuring floral prints or even TV show characters, TV trays reflected the casual, fun vibe of the decade. They were practical, but also a little stylish, adding a splash of color to your living room during those cozy, informal meals in front of the tube. Vinyl record players. In the 1970s, vinyl record players were at the heart of every music lover's home. Long before streaming or digital downloads, spinning a record was the ultimate way to experience music. Whether you were into rock, disco, or soul, the act of placing the needle on the record and hearing that first crackle was pure magic. Brands like RCA and Sony made high-quality turntables that people proudly displayed in their living rooms, often alongside shelves full of vinyl records. For many, record players weren't just for music, they were a centerpiece for social gatherings. Friends would come over, flip through your collection, and you'd play albums from legends like Fleetwood Mac or the Eagles. You likely remember the thrill of unwrapping a new album, carefully sliding it out of its sleeve, and listening to it for the first time. That tactile experience, along with the rich sound quality, is something today's digital music just can't replicate. Record players came in all shapes and sizes, from large wooden consoles to more compact portable models. Many homes had these units built into stereo systems, complete with radios and tape decks, making them a multifunctional entertainment hub for the entire family. Velvet paintings. Velvet paintings were an unexpected yet iconic decor choice in the 1970s. These works of art, typically depicting exotic animals, serene landscapes, or mysterious figures, were painted on black velvet fabric, which gave them a rich, almost glowing appearance. Whether you picked one up at a flea market or a local discount store like Kmart, velvet paintings became a popular way to add a touch of drama and personality to any room. You might remember seeing a velvet painting of a tiger, or perhaps an Elvis portrait portrait hanging in a friend's living room. The unique texture of the velvet made the colors pop, and the subject matter often had an almost kitschy, surreal vibe. Despite their eccentricity, velvet paintings fit right in with the more eclectic, adventurous decor styles of the 70s. They were often displayed prominently, either framed or left unframed, giving the space a bold, distinctive look. For many, these paintings were more than just art, they were conversation starters. The soft, velvety texture made them stand out in a sea of more conventional wall decor, making them a fun, nostalgic piece of the 70s aesthetic. Harvest gold decor. Harvest gold was another iconic color that swept through homes in the 1970s, much like its counterpart avocado green. This warm, mustard yellow shade dominated kitchens and living rooms, showing up on everything from appliances to countertops and even drapes. Major appliance brands like Kenmore and Frigidaire offered refrigerators, stoves, and dishwashers in this sunny hue, making it a popular choice for homeowners wanting to stay on trend. You probably remember how Harvest Gold brought a certain warmth and brightness to any space. It was considered a stylish, modern alternative to more traditional whites and grays, reflecting the earthy, nature-inspired palettes of the time. Harvest Gold often appeared alongside wood paneling and shag carpeting, creating a cozy, inviting environment that was perfect for family gatherings or casual dinners. Whether it was your mom's favorite kitchen appliance or the color of your living room throw pillows, Harvest Gold became synonymous with the decade. It wasn't just about fashion, it made spaces feel vibrant and lively, fitting right into the playful, laid-back atmosphere that defined the 70s home. Fondue sets. Fondue sets were a must-have in the 1970s, especially for those who loved to entertain. Originally a Swiss tradition, fondue gained massive popularity in the US during the decade, turning every dinner party into a social event. Whether it was cheese fondue, chocolate fondue, or even hot oil for meat, these sets brought people together, encouraging conversation as everyone dipped bread, fruit, or meats into bubbling pots. If you owned a fondue set, you probably bought it at a department store like Macy's or Sears, where they were often featured in home goods sections. Fondue was seen as both trendy and sophisticated, making it the perfect addition to dinner parties and gatherings. The experience wasn't just about the food, it was about the fun of sitting around the table with family or friends, each person with their long forks, sharing a communal pot. The sets themselves came in all styles and colors, often matching the era's love for bold earthy tones like orange or brown. Do you remember how exciting it was when someone brought out the fondue set? It instantly signaled that the evening was going to be something special, a break from the usual dinner routine. Waterbeds. Waterbeds were the ultimate symbol of comfort and luxury in the 1970s. Originally designed for medical use, they quickly became a sought-after piece of bedroom furniture, offering a unique sleeping experience. If you had a waterbed, you likely picked it up from a local furniture store or a specialty shop, and it was considered cutting edge, promising better sleep by contouring to your body's shape. I bet you remember the gentle swaying motion as you lay down, almost like floating on a small personal wave. For many, that soothing motion was a selling point, offering a level of relaxation that traditional mattresses couldn't match. The waterbed wasn't just about sleep, it became a symbol of modern living. Couples loved them for the comfort, and kids found them fun to jump on, even though it wasn't recommended. These beds often came with elaborate wooden frames, sometimes featuring built-in headboards with shelves for books or even small lamps. While waterbeds slowly fell out of fashion in later decades due to maintenance issues and leaks, they were the centerpiece of many 70s bedrooms, offering a sense of novelty and comfort that was hard to beat at the time. Popcorn ceilings. Popcorn ceilings, also known as acoustic or textured ceilings, were a common sight in homes throughout the 1970s. Their bumpy, textured appearance was both practical and stylish at the time. Builders loved them because they could easily hide imperfections in the ceiling while also dampening sound, making them a popular choice in living rooms, bedrooms, and hallways. If your home had a popcorn ceiling, it was likely a DIY project or added by contractors as part of the home's original design. You probably remember the distinct rough texture above you, maybe even knocking a bit of it loose by accident with a broom or when trying to clean. The ceilings had a way of collecting dust, but their textured look added an element of coziness, giving homes a softer, more insulated feel. Homeowners often appreciated how the popcorn finish could hide cracks or uneven surfaces, which made it a cost-effective solution for many. Though they've since fallen out of favor in modern home design, seeing a popcorn ceiling today might instantly bring you back to that era when this style was all the rage, adding a touch of warmth and nostalgia to the everyday living space. Wicker furniture. Wicker furniture was a hallmark of 1970s home decor, bringing a natural, airy feel to living spaces, patios, and sunrooms. Made from woven rattan or other plant-based materials, wicker chairs, sofas, and tables were lightweight, durable, and perfectly suited the decade's love for earthy, organic textures. If you had wicker furniture, you likely picked it up at stores like Pier 1 Imports or local home goods shops that specialized in natural materials. Do you remember how these pieces often had colorful, patterned cushions that brightened up the room? Wicker wasn't just for outdoor spaces. Many people used it indoors, blending it with macrame hangers and houseplants to create a relaxed bohemian vibe. The furniture was sturdy, but had a lightness to it that made rearranging rooms easy, which was ideal for those who like to frequently refresh their home's layout. Whether you had a wicker chair in the corner of your living room or a full set on the porch, the furniture added a breezy, casual touch to your home. It was perfect for lounging with a book or gathering with friends, giving any space a laid-back atmosphere that defined the comfort-focused style of the 70s. Brown leather recliners. Brown leather recliners were a staple in many 1970s living rooms, symbolizing ultimate comfort and relaxation. These oversized, cushy chairs became the go-to spot for dads to unwind after a long day, often parked in front of the TV. Made with thick leather and shades of dark brown, they were both durable and stylish, fitting right in with the earthy tones and wood-heavy decor of the era. You could find them at furniture stores like Lazy Boy or Sears, where they were marketed as the epitome of luxury seating. If you had one of these recliners, you probably remember how it became the chair in the house. Everyone wanted to claim it. With a simple pull of a lever, the chair would tilt back and the footrest would pop up, making it perfect for an afternoon nap or watching football. The leather, though tough and long-lasting, would eventually develop a patina that added to the chair's character. These recliners weren't just about function, they were about status. Owning one was like a mark of having made it, providing not just a seat but a throne for relaxation. Polaroid cameras. Polaroid cameras were a groundbreaking piece of technology in the 1970s, allowing people to capture and print photos instantly, a novelty that was revolutionary for the time. These cameras, made famous by the Polaroid Corporation, were a must-have item for families, capturing everything from birthdays to casual moments with friends. The magic of snapping a photo and watching it develop in your hands within minutes made Polaroid cameras an incredibly popular household item. You could pick one up at stores like Kmart or Montgomery Ward, and they quickly became a part of every gathering. You probably remember the excitement of shaking that little square of film, eagerly waiting for the image to appear. It wasn't just the convenience, it was the fun of the process. People loved passing around the photos, creating instant memories at parties, family dinners, or trips. Polaroid's simple point-and-shoot design made it accessible to everyone, whether you were a photography buff or just snapping casual shots. These cameras weren't just a gadget, they brought people together. Every photo became a keepsake, a small, tangible piece of the moment. Today, the nostalgia of those iconic white-bordered pictures still lingers, reminding us of how simple and joyful capturing memories once was. Faux fur throws. Faux fur throws were a cozy and stylish addition to 1970s homes, offering both warmth and a touch of luxury. These soft, plush blankets, made from synthetic materials designed to mimic real fur, were draped over sofas, chairs, or even used as decorative bedspreads. You could find them in department stores like Sears or JCPenney, and they came in a variety of patterns and colors, from natural browns and whites to more playful hues like deep reds or blues. If you had one, you probably remember how comforting it was to wrap yourself in one during chilly evenings, perhaps while watching TV or reading a book. These throws were more than just functional, they added texture and richness to the home decor, fitting right in with the era's embrace of bold, tactile materials. They were perfect for creating a cozy, inviting space, especially in rooms that featured wood paneling or shag carpeting. The appeal of faux fur throws wasn't just about warmth, they brought a sense of glamour and sophistication to any room, making them a favorite among homeowners looking to blend comfort with style. That wraps up our trip through 20 forgotten items from every 1970s home. These objects might not be around anymore, but they'll always hold a special place in our memories. Which of these did you have in your home? Let me know in the comments below.